tonight. Thank you.
All right.
Michael Shellenberger has thought a lot about this subject. He just wrote a piece in Forbes arguing it's time for California to declare a state of emergency over homelessness. He joins us tonight. Michael, thanks very much for coming on. So what would that, I don't think anybody watching the show needs to be convinced that there is an emergency. What would declaring an emergency do?
Well, I mean, this is a problem, as you know, Tucker, and you've done a great job covering it really where other people haven't. It's comprised of three separate issues. One is a major housing shortage, another is a drug epidemic, and the other is an untreated mental illness problem.
Yes.
And in every situation, we're just basically suffering from a vacuum of leadership, an unwillingness from the governor to take the actions that he needs to take to demand accountability from the different agencies to just deal with this problem. It's not just housing, it's also, we've just got, you know, when I interview people, basically somewhere around 100% of the unsheltered homeless on the street are either suffering from mental illness or some kind of drug addiction or both. And it's just gotten so out of control. I mean, honestly, I didn't really believe it, and I live here until I really started to investigate it, and it's just become chaotic. I mean, we're just dealing with a breakdown of social norms and social order like nothing we've ever had before.
It's so, I mean, this touches all kinds of very deep questions about the nature of our economy and our social structure, in my opinion. But does it strike you as odd that this is happening in what is in some ways the richest city in the world, San Francisco? Why would it happen there, of all places?
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's sad, it's tragic, it's also embarrassing.
Yes.
I mean, I have a very personal connection to this because my late aunt was schizophrenic and she was on the street for a long time and worried the family sick, and we're a family of psychologists and people that are involved in social programs, and not being able to deal with it. You know, look, I just think that at bottom there's an ideology that's behind this that is an idea that people should be free to make their own choices. We used to have carrots and sticks to get people into drug recovery and also into mental illness programs. We've gradually gotten rid of the sticks, and so there's basically no incentive for people to take the drug recovery or the mental health that they need. And the truth is, everybody in the world knows this. I was just in the Netherlands, which is an incredibly progressive country. They couldn't, I talked to the head of one of their big programs. He couldn't believe what he had seen in San Francisco. Yeah. There's nothing like this in the world. You know, I had Japanese friends come, and they were just horrified, and it's like embarrassing. The idea that this is happening because of, some people say it's an excess of empathy. It's hard to imagine that what's happening on the streets could be called anything like empathic. It's quite the opposite.
In fact, it's a species of cruelty.
It really is.
Posing as something else. And you're absolutely right that it's the fruit of an ideology. Thank you, Michael, for your work on this, and I would recommend our audience.
Thanks for having me.
It's great. Good to see you. Well, at first, federal agents said an airline maintenance